Hey, it's Chuck Carstensen, Carstensen Team Remax Results, and I'll be joined in a little bit by my sister Michelle, who's just logging on. Stacy's finished up in the showing, and it is our What's Happening in Minnesota Real Estate show, where we talk about obviously what's happening in Minnesota real estate. We've been doing this show about 10.5 months. You are likely watching it live on Facebook on the Carstensen Team Remax Results page. Typically, Michelle, Stacy, and I share it to our personal page, so you could be seeing it there. It's on my YouTube page, and you can listen to the recording after it's done. If you missed this or can't tune into the whole thing, I like to listen to podcasts on the Real Life Impact podcast, which I listen through Apple, but you can listen through Spotify and through my website there. So thank you for joining us. I am going to bring Michelle in, and she'll join us too. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, everybody. How's it going? Look at the sun lines everywhere.
It's very sunny out today. Nice, beautiful, sunny day in Minnesota. Like a little over a week ago, it was like 30 below, and now today it's what's it been, like 40 degrees. I didn't know other states have had extreme weather, but it's interesting. I'm not complaining. I like the warmer weather. Michelle likes warmer weather too, isn't that right, Michelle?
I do. And I noticed that like 2 days ago, I was like on the verge of like, how do we get the snow off the roof so you don't get an ice dam? And now it's like all melted. So that's good.
And you didn't have an ice dam?
No. I mean, I had one a couple months ago, but not recently. So it was weird because I think everything got so frozen. So then it didn't move when it got like 30 below. But then once it warmed up, it all moved and started like creating the ice at the end of the roof. Which they were talking about all over the news because like definitely something that was happening, but thank God it warmed up really fast. So it just melted it all off.
Yeah. And if you are joining us now, you're always welcome to like the show, share the show. You can comment with your real estate questions, ask us any real estate questions you want, and we can certainly answer them. Obviously, if you don't have real estate questions, we don't actually have a guest today, but today we're going to have a new bit that we're going to do. It's going to be called 10 Topics, where I'll ask the ladies questions about 10 topics. It could be personal, get to know them. It could be real estate wise, and they'll both, for about 30 seconds answer the questions. And in theory, I'd like to score them a little bit, like give them points if they had good answers or not great answers, or maybe a bonus point if they had an answer that matches up with what I think. So we'll try to make it a little bit fun, a little bit competitive, not too competitive, but also in a way to get to know them, but yet test them a little bit in a couple of areas of real estate. So tune in for that when Stacy gets done with her showing and back on here, and then we'll have that a little bit later in the show. Michelle, we haven't had a show for about 3 weeks. What's happening in Minnesota real estate in about those 3 weeks that you want to update people on? Time
flies when you're having fun, I guess. What's happening real estate? Oh, jeepers. Well, the interest rate has jumped up about 0.5%. So if you did not,
is it really 0.5%, or is it more like 1/4%?
It's 1/4 for sure, but I've heard it's up to 1/2, depending on what lender you probably book yourself with. So it's 1/4 for sure, 100% quarter guaranteed. And the lenders I've been talking to, if you didn't lock your rate yet and you just bought a house, you better lock your rate, because it sounds like it's not going to be changing much besides going up. Don't think it's going back down.
Yeah. So it's probably not. Here's my take on it. I don't think it's going to go down a lot. I don't think it's going to go way up, but here's the challenge. If you were qualified on that lower rate, hoping to squeeze into a house, you might have missed that moment, because yet the house prices still should tick up a little bit with our typical appreciation. But now the interest rate's a little bit higher. So unfortunately, that's knocking some people back down on what they can qualify for. So that is one brief update. Now, we had that great run of lower interest rates, and the current interest rates are still low too, but they're just not low. That's about what it is. So it's nothing to totally freak out about. If you were looking, sometimes people are like, I'm going to look in the fall and then give up over the winter, and then they start to look in the spring. It's the same as it probably was a few months ago, but it's not as low as it got to when it hit like the lowest point, obviously.
Yeah, and I don't see that happening again. I don't know how it would get back down to the lowest point. That wouldn't make any sense to do that again.
Not with how the housing market's going, where there's limited inventory. There's no reason to drop the rates lower. a lot of people have refinanced, which obviously we've talked about before, keeps some people from selling, but the limited inventory is causing a lot of multiple offers. Michelle, you're still obviously seeing multiple offers on pretty much every offer you make on all the buyers you're working with in the Twin Cities.
Pretty much. I would say it probably takes about 7 to 9 to 10 offers to get one. Around
how many offers? What's like the most amount of offers that you've been told you ran into on an offer recently, and what's maybe the average amount of offers if you had to quick calculate the feedback you've gotten that you run into and on average?
17, I think. The most amount of offers, the least amount I've seen is probably like 2. Depends where you're at.
And again, that's almost for certain on most Twin Cities areas properties. Obviously, we do properties all over, and we've got a few of the rural area properties that don't necessarily get multiple offers, or it take a little while to sell. Not that every Twin City house doesn't sell. There's probably some that are way overpriced, and then they still don't sell. But there's not many of them. Don't you see most of the save a search for a buyer? Don't you see most of your searches, if you go through them, they pretty much clear out every listing?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. You might see one on the market for like 10 days, and then at that point, they're about ready to lower the price, and then they get an offer at, the price they're at. So I would say that overall, like in the most cases of the ones I've been on, people wait about 3 days to accept an offer. A lot of properties going on Thursday, Friday, accepting offers Sunday or Monday. Although you and I both have tried to, what we do is we normally contact the agent, make sure it's not sold before we get you out there, because that's no fun. We've seen people like literally say they're gonna wait 2 days to take off, or they get a cash offer over price, no inspection, they take it, bam, done, you get no chance. So I've seen that 3 times in the last like 2 weeks, I think, which is fine. I mean, good for the sellers. I mean, if you get a cash offer with no inspection, like, I mean, what are you gonna do? Of course you're gonna take it.
Yeah.
I've been helping customers where we will write the offer contingent on financing, but like they will say, we'll pay 5, 10, 15,000 over the appraisal. And then, the offer might be written 30,000 over, and then they would negotiate after that. I've got one of those to go through recently, but been writing them for multiple people. But of course, you've got to have cash on hand to be able to do that. So assuming you're going to do that, you're also not asking for closing costs. So you're getting a gift from a family member, you're taking out your 401k, you already have the money in your savings. We definitely have some buyers that are like rolling with the punches. We have buyers that are very upset that they can't get a house. And a lot of that is, it goes back to, it doesn't have to be this year. It could be any year. Like, save your money. If you think you're going to try to want to buy a house next year, like, start putting money in your savings for the 3 or 5% down. I mean, with the closing costs, like, it's kind of, a different ball game right now. But, we've been seeing not getting the full closing costs on most properties for last 2 years. I mean, once in a while you can get them if you write the offer over and sell acceptance, but in multiple offers, you're just not going to get your offer through asking for closing costs. Like, why would they do that when they're getting 12 offers and, at least one of them is not asking for closing costs?
Yeah.
And anyone that's out there on any of these properties that just come on the market that are priced right, like, I still have buyers like, can we write the offer lower than? No,
not right now. Maybe 5 years ago. Not even sometimes during the last 12 months, but not a whole lot during the last 12 months. If it is priced well or a little bit low. And now, so I help a lot of people with land purchases. I've ran into basically already 3 times in the last 7 days where there's been multiple offers on basically recreational land properties. And that is rare. That used to be super rare. And land, just, if you're listening, some sellers way overprice them. So there's lots of land out there that's 40% overpriced. But every once in a while, like the pricing that made to put down was like 6 months ago pricing where that was the right price, and land has gone up. I remember saying at the beginning of of this, when we had our first show in the beginning of COVID and doing videos, I thought like land, lake homes, maybe those wouldn't go up, but I thought the market would still appreciate where, you remember this, Michelle, everybody's talking, oh, it's going to crash or anything. I'm like, I think the secondary properties would go down. The secondary properties have actually gone up the most. The recreational property, people are putting their recreational dollars into the lake homes, into, second homes, into land. And yeah, I'm running into multiple offers on land, not, 17 offers or 8 offers, but 3 times already in 7 days, I ran into multiple offers on land, which is pretty crazy, I think. And that's something you got to know. And there really isn't that many good, well, or within the ballpark price land. If it is in the ballpark, it's selling too. There's a lot of people that overprice their land, but maybe they will get it because the prices of land, like I said, are jumping up. So very strange. We're running into that too, I think.
Well, I think the biggest thing that we saw change, we've talked about this before in 2020, is people buying the second homes, the land, like what you're saying. And I would say the biggest trend I'm going to see in 2021 is the people buying the second properties. And then people ask me, where's all this cash? I thought it's COVID. I mean, if you're over 55 and you got like IRA accounts, such like that, I mean, they probably, if you had them in a decent account, went up 30 to 50% in 2020. So you're just pulling the money out because you can with no penalty. And maybe you're pulling out and paying cash for your son or daughter's home, and they're going to pay you back so they can get a home and not pay, a percentage over because they're not cash, I mean, the cash buyers is still definitely paying over the list price normally, I think in most cases too. But I just feel like that's where the money's coming from, where the people that had money in the stock market did really well in 2020. For the most part, I couldn't believe if you lost money in the stock market in 2020, then I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you pulled it out when you got scared, right? So I would say that's where most of the money's coming from. I don't, people have money. There's definitely money out there. A lot of it's just in retirement.
So back to anything else, the people who aren't working are probably people that were more renters, or hopefully they bought a home 7 years ago when the home prices were really low and they're doing okay. They're making it. But the economy segment that hurt the most aren't people that were necessarily going to be basically more or less in the real estate, buying or selling mode. Obviously, there would have been a few more, but it's that I think it's creating people that got into a house at the right price not to move too. Like, hey, we just got to stay put. We can't move because I can't qualify for the next home, but with whatever way I'm making it on my house that I bought 7 years ago, the payments are lower, I can make it. And then a lot of the money too can come from the equity in somebody's house that they bought years ago. That's how people are moving up, putting a lot down and making it work as well.
Yeah. I mean, there's just a lot of ways out there. And I would just say, like, we can only assume because this happens every year, that more cabins, like properties, will keep coming on the market as spring hits. That's about the same every year. People don't sell them in the winter. Why would you do that? You got to winterize whatever you're doing with it. So we'll see more of those come on, but I've seen lots of, info on other realtors around here that are looking on, like, say you're trying to get on in the Twin Cities on Medicine or Minnetonka, and they have 3-4 buyers under 1.5 million, and there's just nothing, zero for sale. And I watch that lake market a lot because I'm interested in the lake properties, as everyone knows. And obviously Chuck lives on a lake, and there is nothing, zero for sale. So, those people are going to push more up north, Brainerd Lakes area. I see tons of people going up that way and even farther. I mean, we've got people looking at, like, I don't know, way up past, Duluth, up by Bemidji, and they're willing to drive there just to get this lake property. And it's kind of interesting. I mean, that's how it was in 2020, but we see it even more now. Like, I think people sat through the winter and COVID, and even if COVID's like on the down low where it's going to start going down and it's going to be gone, I still think people are like, if this happens again, I'm not staying in this house here. And if I do, I got to have like a second option. And a lot of the second options, people want the internet. So we are like looking every day at all these properties to see if they have internet. It's just weird. Like, even that, if you're asking me, like, what happened the last 3 weeks, like, that's a lot of it. People are looking for lake properties, and people are definitely still trying to move. It's just, can you move? How is it going to look? And how can you move? and we got tons of still first-time home buyers, like of course we would every year. There's just not the inventory yet out there. Hopefully soon. I just keep telling my buyers there's going to be more buyers coming in, but hopefully some of these have already bought. So get some opportunities.
Yeah. It's an interesting market, that's for sure. It's also challenging. Sometimes people think, oh, that makes it really easy for the realtor. You just list the house and sell the house and that's it. There's a lot of challenges, obviously, just in general, because most of the people aren't just list and sell. They're list and let's sell and buy and make it work.
Yeah.
Let's pick the right of the 8 offers, because sometimes people are just throwing stuff out there and they've not really, it's just like, hey, it's a house, I'll throw it out there, but is this the house they want? So there's a lot of little things you gotta consider on each end.
There's a lot of that coming back on the market on the searches I have set up for people, like, oh, buyers backed out, cold feet, because when you bid 15, 25 over a house and you get it, you're like, oh shoot, I got it. Because you feel like you have to bid on at least like 1 out of every 3 every time we go out, because you got deadlines. You got to be done at the end of April, into May, into June, wherever. You got to be in a house you're going to keep renting. You got to start making offers. You just have to. And it might not be the perfect home, but you got to look at it in a couple different ways. Like, you can make any house nice for the right price, right? And if it's similar to what you're looking for and you actually get it, I feel like a lot of times it's just, I always feel like this intuition is you're supposed to be there unless it's like falling over, you don't want that, but I don't know. Sometimes people just don't get, like, it is really, I know you're going to call it your home, but it is really just a real estate transaction. It is an investment with your money, and you're going to call it your home. You're going to make it home. And we love that, but you've got to decide, like, is this going to sell again in 7 to 10 years if I need to sell it? Assuming the same kind of market, we're not going to have a straight up market like we have right now forever, but can I resell this house? So just like buying an automobile, same thing, so that's how I look at it. But yeah, it's tough when there's not a lot of houses out there.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't think the demand will slow down a whole lot. Like you said, more buyers are going to be coming onto the market. And then I don't think the supply is going to be like a big influx. Hey, there'll be way more houses in the spring. I think, most realtors are working hard to tell you, hey, get your house out there now, seller. You're ready. Let's get it out. Other than timing factors with kids that are in school that don't want to move to the end of the school year, I think that's a little bit different this year, but that's still some of it. I've had a couple people waiting for their, kid to graduate, so they got to time it out where it closes, early June, and they're not on the market. But I think there's a little bit less of that because a lot of the schools maybe closer into the cities or hybrid or distance learning. Obviously, more of the rural property areas, a lot of those people are in school more often than not now, it seems like. So yeah, it's definitely
like talking about that though is, so when you have sellers that are like, oh, I want to wait till like June 5th to sell, because that's when we're done with school. I look at it as you're going to put it on the market beginning of March, tell them what the closing date you need. And if you don't have a house yet, you definitely have time to get a house in that time. If you're like selling equity in your house.
Yeah, and you could name your closing day, right? Ideal closing day for the sellers, whatever date. That gives that extra few weeks to find a house if you're buying and selling, if you're somebody that's doing that. And there's probably a buyer that's like, yeah, well, I might as well buy it. I'll be waiting anyway. Now, another thing, I'm working on a couple new construction deals. New construction is 6-8 months out normally. A lot of times they're not going to dig the hole right now because they're going to wait till the ground thaws out a little bit. I'm not ruling that part out. But then when they start building up, it's 4 months, 6 months, 8 months. They got to kind of hedge their bets on getting all the materials. So I've got some people building, but right now, if they get their offer signed off on, they are probably closing in October. So that is a long wait for that. That's crazy. And it seems crazy, but that's what it is, because there's the builder demand for new homes are up. I think I was watching, they're up like 4.3% over what they projected. They're obviously ahead of the pace. Buildings going well. Obviously, they're probably slowed by the slowness of some of the materials that they don't have. So they got to slow down that. So getting a new house is not going to be quick because there's not very many spec homes out there or model homes for sale. Isn't that right, Michelle? Like they're pretty much.
No, because they got to run the parade of homes too. I mean, they might sell them to you, but say you can't get into them until May, and they're just not. But I mean, I think a lot of people are going new because on a new home, they'll tell you what price you're paying and boom, that's all it is. You know, you're not guessing at what you're going to have to pay for a used house. So like, I know there's times where we're like, well, if you buy a new construction, you got to live there for 10 years, which I still think is about, you know, what it's going to be to get your money out of it. But at least you know what you're getting. The only issue I see is I've got a couple people doing that and they've got to find somewhere to live for 6 months because most of the time the bank will make you sell your house now, even if you're not going to close until October on your new house because they want the money out of it. And I mean, you're not going to find somebody to buy your house and close in October right now. You can't even lock a rate. So it's not going to happen. So you got to find some place to live. So you're probably living with family over the summer. I mean,
hopefully they bought a second home. And if they haven't, have them reach out to us and we'll help them buy a second home and you can live at one of them. They'll live at the other one. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's make this work.
Yeah. Second home, buy your second home and then, you know, you can move to it. So, I mean, and there's not a ton of rentals out there unless you're going into an apartment. I mean, why would you rent it when you can sell it for, you know, good money at this point? So I don't know. There's some people still rented it, obviously. I noticed a couple people that I know, realtors actually like Airbnb their properties, like, because they know people need to be in like monthly rentals because they, you know, got to sell and then buy. That's a new trend I've seen a lot lately, actually. I was like, wow, that's interesting. We'll just monthly rent this because we'll make more, let's clean it, and, you know, I guess. I know one of my buyers a couple months ago was trying to look for like a 3-month rental, and because they had a dog, it was like $3,500 a month or some crazy thing. I mean, whatever they can get, I guess, good for them, you know. But yeah, I mean, I still have buyers that got to be in the end of May, and we're pushing the deadlines soon, especially if, you know, can't make the greatest offers in the world, don't got a lot of money on hand. I've been telling a lot of the buyers too, like if you're putting 5% down, let's just put it all in earnest money. Because if you have it in your savings, like literally that's where you're taking your 5% down. And let's put the 10,000 down. Let's put the 20,000 down for earnest money. I mean, you got to make a solid offer. They're going to more likely take an offer that has a high earnest money than somebody that doesn't. Even that me and you, like you and I both know, like it's really hard for the seller to keep their earnest money in the beginning anyways. But I've seen that. I see a lot of waiving the finance contingency. So what if that means is if it's basically a cash offer. So if you buy the house, get through the inspection, great. You can do an appraisal. You can get a loan. Doesn't matter what it appraises for. You still have to pay the whole price. So I've seen a lot of that lately. I've seen other agents talking about that as well. But again, you've got to have, where can you get the money from? You know, if it appraises 20,000 low, where's the extra 20,000? I know if you're putting 20% down though, you can lower your down payment. That's not what you want to do because you want to keep it at 20%. You could lower your down payment. That's where some of the money can come from. But
so I think one thing, you know, we need more inventory, right? Could be rental inventory, like you said, could be, you know, you can Airbnb your property. If you or somebody you know has a property sitting vacant, unless it's not inhabitable, they should be doing something with that property. They're tossing money away. Michelle said $3,000 a month rentals in the cities potentially. Every once in a while, I'll get this. I'll get a call, and this is a decent amount of my clients now, like out-of-state clients, people moving in, people moving out, whatever the deal is, and they have a house that is sitting vacant for a couple months while they figure things out. That's fine. That's their choice. But literally, you could use those couple months. And you can find good people if you have the right system in place, especially like going through Airbnb and stuff like that. You could get several $1,000s to not sit a vacant, or just quickly get your house staged and ready to go and sell it and move on and have that cash in hand. So there's a lot of, I think, semi-temporary vacant homes out there that really should be utilized a little more effectively now. That's one way you can, you know, maximize money. Now we're talking, those are probably people who have some money and in a better situation. Michelle, what would you say to somebody who isn't in like a high, you know, cash on hand financing position, still wants to buy a house? Maybe it's not right now, they're planning for it. They'd like to buy a house coming up, 3 months, 6 months, maybe a year, what would you say to help encourage them, help give them ideas of, reaching that goal sooner rather than later?
Well, I know some people that pick up part-time jobs to get the extra money to put down. You can rent part of the property you're in right now. Like if you're looking to buy a house and you already have a house and it's not like you're really using it, it's just storing stuff, rent part of your property. Really start saving money. I know I myself like to spend money. I think we all spend the money we make. But, set a budget for 3 months and say, we're not going to go to eat. We're not going to do this. We need to get this down payment, whether that's $2,500. I mean, depends how much money you make, but I've got a couple buyers that are like, well, we need an extra $5,000 by the time we close in 2 months. Well, they said they can figure it out. They just won't spend all the money they've been used. It's just, you got to save. At some point, if you want to buy a house, you got to start budgeting and decide that you're maybe buying a house and save the money. And things can come up. But a lot of the times that we've learned too is like, if you use cash, you're going to spend a lot less money than if you swipe your credit card all the time. And that's another thing, getting your credit cards paid down so that you get better interest rates, so your credit score goes up.
Obviously, you have more debt to income ratio to use to buy a house too.
Yeah. And, lenders can get really close to on the debt to income ratio, but there's a lot of things that can get it just down enough to like make it too. But a big thing is just, you're going to have to save money. I don't know. If you don't know how, you're going to have to start really going to have to get the money to put down so that you can move, I think we were talking about earlier, interest rates are going up, but they shouldn't be over like 3.5, for the next, 6 months, but it might be, I don't know. But that's still a pretty good rate. So you should be able to buy. I know that like when we went from 2.5 to 2.75, let's just say we did that right now, depending on the price of the home, if the home's like, 350, 400,000, that's already $50 a month more just on that 0.25%. So you go up another quarter, that's another 50, another quarter, that's another 50, so that's also why people are going to keep buying. They're just going to buy until they can lock their rate and be done because they look at it differently. I mean, if you got to save $50 to $100 a month, that's like you on the verge of not buying, going to have to buy now. So, or you're going to buy a cheaper house, which we're saying like the house prices aren't going down. If you're in a 275 to 300 range, you might have to go down to 225 to 250 and just not get the house you wanted. That's a lot of what we've done in the past already, though. We try not to show our buyers houses that they can't really afford because then they get all stuck on them and then upset that they're stuck with something else. But you wouldn't know it existed if we didn't show it to you. So we really try not to do that. Or start talking to your family. Maybe your family's got money in retirement that they're willing to borrow you at, you're not supposed to do that, but that's what everyone does. You got to get gifts from people. So, and what I'm saying is, if you get a gift, you're not supposed to pay back, but because it's a gift. So I don't know. Where's Stacy anyway?
Stacy, we're sending out. I did text her. She said she'd be on soon. She's probably doing her hair and makeup, and then she'll be on. Also, so I did a continuing ed course yesterday, and they said some lenders will actually allow crowdfunding for your down payment. Like you could do your crowdfunding, and obviously you have to not be timid to do that and have the right story. Somebody's not going to just give you the money, but people are doing it, that are getting married. There's a couple websites that allow you to fund through there and say, hey, instead of buying me this and this and this, I already have all these appliances and all these, coffee makers and stuff. Help us fund our marriage is happening soon. Help us fund our down payment for our house we're buying.
That's awesome. I like that idea.
So that is an actual option in some cases. They also said check with your employer. Sometimes very few employers have this, but some employers actually have programs that will help you with grant funds for very specific employers. So there are a few options that, the other lenders I don't remember that we've had on the show bringing this up. Stacy, we're going to have you on. So get all set.
I was just going to get closer to town and hopefully have a little bit better service, but I'm on a main road, so I think I'll have a decent amount of service here. So
you're driving and you're on the live
video. I'm pulled over.
Okay.
Don't worry, don't turn me in, guys. I'm in park on the side of the road.
Right there. Hit it right there. I heard it.
Right. See? Exactly.
Well, you missed about half the show, but you didn't
I know,
miss
sorry.
It's all good. Michelle gave good info, and I went with
good deal. It's really sunny out. Sorry, I kind of look washed out, but at least the sun's out.
I'm a zebra, so.
It is very sunny.
Exactly.
I'm in the back corner conference room at Remax here where there's no sun, but it's good enough.
Oh yeah.
Good lighting.
So I know we forgot to bring up, Chuck is now a certified Wisconsin real estate agent. So Chuck can service you all in Wisconsin and Minnesota. So we have actually a decent amount of buyers that are always like Wisconsin or Minnesota. I'm like, okay, we have to send you to someone. Not no more. Chuck's here to save the day.
And very likely, I'm already going to be making an offer on a Wisconsin property later today, maybe tomorrow. So that was good. I when I did this, I'm like, we probably do a few people in Wisconsin, and I'll get my license and whatever. And I already showed one client that Stacy and I are working with, one in Wisconsin, another client, looking for land in Wisconsin. I've had, I think, another inquiry of somebody in Wisconsin. Michelle has somebody that's likely to look in Wisconsin not too long. So it's like, okay, good idea. I'm glad I did that. So
yeah.
And people that don't know, like I live in Cambridge. It's 35 minutes from St. Croix Falls, which is Wisconsin. A lot of the people now, like we mentioned before, looking for land and lakes, are looking in like a 2-hour scope. And if I'm going to go 2 hours in Minnesota, I might as well go out to Wisconsin too.
Might as well go an hour to Wisconsin. Yeah.
Might as well. Yes.
That's true.
Yeah,
that is good. I'm happy that we can cover Wisconsin too, because I will get a few calls here and there to ask if we can go to Wisconsin. I'm always like, I'm not licensed there, but now we have a teammate that is. So that's great.
Yeah, just giving myself more work to do though too. So
yep, it does. That's okay, Chuck. You love to work.
Well, we put it up for grabs. Like, who's getting their Wisconsin license? And I'm like, I'm out.
That's true. Well, you did volunteer.
Yeah, I live the closest, so I might as well do it. So. All right, Stacy, you saw the email this morning. We're going to have a segment and for our listeners that come on the show or listen to the replay. We haven't done this before. Sometimes we'll have a guest on, and we'll obviously keep talking real estate or their specific niche into real estate. But I thought to switch it up, we're going to have a segment called 10 Topics. I don't even know if we have time for 10 topics, so we'll see how it goes. But basically, the premise is I'm going to throw out 10 questions or topics. And we don't need 3-minute answers, but they're probably 15 to 45-second answers. Like Michelle will go, I'll give the question, Michelle will go, and then Stacy will be able to answer the question. Then I'll go to Stacy, so Michelle has more time to think about it. And I'm going to score you, meaning if you come up with a legitimate answer, you get a point. Now, some of the questions I have like the right answer that I think's right. And if you agree with my right answer, I'll give you 2 points. You'll get a bonus point. And in some, there's no right or wrong answer.
So is it real estate? Is it history? Is it math?
So it's either going to be like more of a personal topic, not too provocative or anything, or real estate. So right now, at least this day, maybe someday we'll do something more crazy. But
I was just going to have really bad connection if it was going to be math or history, and all of a sudden everything was going to go blank. So.
Yep, and here's the kicker. Even if there's only seems like one good answer, you get a brain fart, you cannot copy the leadoff hitter's answer. You can't say, I agree with Michelle on that one. Nope, that would be a minus point. You have to come up with your own answer.
Oh, boy. Okay.
And vice versa. So
it's kind of like table topics and Toastmasters.
It is kind of like table topics and Toastmasters, just a little shorter. And obviously, if anybody's out there watching that wants to comment, like I ask a question and you want to throw out your answer just to interact, that's fine. These midday, broadcasts, we don't have as much interaction. When I gave away gift cards, then all kind of people will comment. So it's all good. All right.
Okay.
So first question, this should be super easy. Nice warm-up question. I'm going to start with Stacy. What's your morning routine?
Oh, so I get up, give or take the day between 6 and 7, 6:45. I let the dogs out usually, and then I go to the gym. So I work out in the morning and then come home and either, depending on what my day is, either get ready at the gym and start my work day from there, or come home and get ready and start my work day from home. Eat some breakfast. Usually I have eggs and coffee, sometimes toast. We'll see. Kind of depends on how my morning goes, but that's generally my morning routine.
Sounds good. Michelle, your morning routine.
How do we want into this?
About no more than Stacy. Stacy's is all right. We don't have to get into what you eat.
Yeah. Well, I set my alarm for 6:15. I wake up and I don't move. I meditate for 10 minutes. Then I get up, get ready, and I'm on my workout with Barbara Lee, our other agent. Been doing that since May. Not on the weekends though, but during the week, that's what I do. I get up, work out for 30 minutes, and then I go walk Roxy when it wasn't 30 below, and then I don't usually eat until noon, honestly. So
interesting. All right, very good. So you each can get a point on that one. See, that was just a warm up right in the wheelhouse.
I was going to say, if you count that as a wrong answer, I got to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing in the morning.
That's fine. Okay, so another question. This will kind of be both personal and real estate related. If you were not doing real estate, what job or business would you be doing? Michelle?
Oh, geez. I'd be waitressing on the beach.
Yeah, quick answer. I don't think there's any wrong answers unless Stacy copies you. So I guess we'll go with it.
I guess I've always had an interest in the medical field. I tried to go back to school a number of years ago for nursing. It just wasn't in the cards for me, just timing wise, personally, like financially wise, and not the best schooling person. So it was a little bit more challenging for me than I wanted it to be at the time, and I didn't really feel like pushing myself at the time. So I guess if I wasn't in real estate, I'd be in the medical field, probably like nursing.
Okay.
Not
Sounds
me.
Good.
No way.
Okay, so here's another one. What personal goal have you accomplished in recent memory, last few months, maybe up to the last year, that you're most proud of? Personal goal that you're most proud of in recent memory. And Stacy starts.
I would have to say it's probably getting into the 100% club for real estate for the past year, which was a pretty big deal, and also for our team to get top 5 for small teams in transactions and what was the other one? I forgot. Having a brain fart, but
Volume.
It's pretty cool. Volume. That's right. It's a pretty big deal for us to be able to push ourselves and be able to get those achievements. So I'm pretty proud of those.
Sounds good, Michelle.
You can't copy me.
I would say I had a goal to have my house paid off by the time AJ graduates. If I wasn't currently using that money to do a different investment, I would have my house paid off right now.
Nice.
So.
Okay, so I'm going to give you both a 0 on that one. Here's why.
You said personal.
I said personal goal.
That is a personal goal.
My personal goal was to get in the 100% club this year.
I don't feel like you. Okay, fine. We'll just, doesn't matter.
I have my own goal boards. What are you, like, I gotta lose 20 pounds or something? What are you trying to say?
No, you guys are fine. I don't know. That wasn't quite the answers. One that I almost did a goal. And I did something else, which is fine.
I mean, I can't really talk about it.
No, but then you pick a different goal. That was all the point. And Stacy, I guess you did have a personal goal that would be income. I was still trying to get it away from real estate, but I didn't really totally clarify that.
I mean, you said I never paying off my house. Like I could do it.
All right, it doesn't matter. You each get the same amount of points on that scorecard too. So we'll.
They're fake points, anyways.
All right, this one kind of relates to real estate. What feature does your current house not have that you would like or must have in your next house? So what your house doesn't have that you really like or must have if you were to buy another house. And let's see, that means Michelle starts this one.
2 things. I really want a whirlpool bathtub because I used to have one and I don't have one. So that one, and an open kitchen. My house does not have open kitchen.
Nice. Stacy.
I want a pool, but I know they're super expensive. So, and to buy a house with a pool is a lot of work. So that and an actual den or office that we actually have. But quite honestly, I think this house that we're in is our forever home. So I'll just have to wait till the kids move out so I can make one of their bedrooms my office.
Sounds
and
good.
then I'll just have to get a blow-up pool.
I feel like it's not your forever. I feel like you're gonna upsize in the next 5 years. Just have this vibe.
I don't know. Okay, that's interesting.
Head to the lake. Get on the lake.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll
Goals.
see.
That's true.
All right. So this kind of goes along with the first question, but it's a little bit different. What one thing that you have added to your life or schedule that was not on your radar a year ago when the pandemic started? What is one thing that you've added to your life or schedule that's been a benefit to you that was not even on your radar, never thought you'd even be doing it a year ago, and now you're doing it? And let's see, who started the last one? Stacy, you're going to go
Michelle
first.
did. Jeez. Like, I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. Like, my life, I really haven't let the pandemic change my life or alter what I do. I mean, yeah, obviously with stuff shut down, like I needed to work out and stuff at home, and we're not huge, like, out people that go out to eat a ton, so that really didn't change. So I don't.
Okay, let me
Gosh.
give you an example. So, for example, a year ago, so I'm kind of like Melissa can claim this. I'm doing the 75 hard program. Stacy's familiar with that. With
I'm doing that
my
too,
wife,
yeah.
because I thought if I didn't do that, it wouldn't be a good thing. So this winter, to get some of our outdoor workout in, we got cross country skis. I never in a million years thought I'd ever do cross country skiing, but now it's like the best winter outdoor activity I could ever find, because if it's cold, you can still dress warm enough and stay warm because you're moving. Then when it's like super warm, like Michelle called me when I was doing it yesterday, I sweat off like 5 pounds and then I lose weight. So it's because I still dress warm. So that's an example of one thing I just never thought I'd be doing, that because of how things shifted, I'm doing now. That's an example. Okay,
Yeah.
now Michelle, you try, and then.
I don't have anything like that.
I know.
I mean,
So here's the deal. So I'm going to give some free coaching to everybody who listens
We'll
to
get
this.
0 points.
You need to, in your life, be constantly looking at what can you add to make yourself better. What can you minus isn't serving you.
But that's still the same answer. Never in a million years was I going to Zoom call one of you and like exercise for at 7 a.m.
Okay, that's a good one.
Why the hell would I Zoom call you?
That's a good one.
At a score. So that's the same answers I had before, but why would I ever do that? That sounds insane. But
yep, I like it. Yep. So Stacy, do you have a new answer?
I mean, I am as well doing the 75 hard challenge that Chuck is doing. I didn't start it at the same time as him. Some people from my gym were doing it, so I just kind of went and did that as well. So I guess for my workouts, even in the negative 22-degree weather, I've been just walking the dogs more, or when it's too cold, I don't take them. I just go for a walk. And even though it's like super cold and your eyelashes are frozen, you got little icicles coming off your eyelashes, like you get home and like, quite honestly, it's refreshing. Dare I say that? Like, it actually like feels really good to just get out, fresh air. Even when it's negative 22, the sun sometimes shines, and that just makes you feel better. So I guess I'd say that's included in my life. And like, I never really read a lot before starting to do the 75 hard too. So that's one of the things you have to do with the 75 hard. It's also a mental challenge as well as physical. So I read more.
There you go. Okay, sounds good. All right, so last question, because I kind of wanted to wrap it up in a 45-minute show. We'll do a little cherry on top after this question. So we're only going to get 6 questions in today, and so far I got you scored as a tie, so I don't know how we'll break the tie. What do you think is the most misunderstood when it comes to being a realtor by the public? So as a realtor, public probably thinks, oh, this is what realtors do. What do you think, in your mind, is most understood by the general public, not necessarily even our clients? Michelle, go.
That we make a butt ton of money for doing nothing.
Okay, good answer.
Straight.
And also, like, I can't say the same thing, but I agree with that. But also that, like, we have all this free time and everything like that. But, like, I mean, which is fine. Like, I'm like, I work when my clients need me to work. Like, if they call me and say I need to see houses at Friday night at 6 p.m., well, that's what I'm doing on Friday night at 6 p.m. So, I mean, yeah, we write our own schedule, but if you want to be there for your clients, you need to be ready and able to work when they need you to, because they have full-time jobs just as well. So I think that's kind of a misconception as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I would say,
and that it's super easy, because it's not.
Yeah. So this kind of is a good way to maybe summarize that whole thing. So the average, at least statistically, the average realtor, when you take, somebody who does well, somebody probably doesn't do many deals, somebody does okay, or whatever they choose to do, makes just under $40,000 a year. So a lot of professions make over $40,000 a year. So I think my biggest pet peeve on what public, they think that any realtor can list my house and sell it for top dollar right now as long as they have a license in 2021. So let's just get somebody who's, not on the right team or doesn't know what they're doing. And it's hard to judge. I get it. How do you figure that out? But it's going to go better when you pick the right person. Typically, yes, every once in a while, somebody can, make it work. But also you got to think about it. If you're working with somebody, do you want somebody who's going to be out of the business, or you want somebody that's going to be there? I've been around forever, and you guys keep adding on to your years. So I think the biggest misperception is some people just think it's all the same. No matter what realtor I pick, it doesn't matter, and it's going to all work the same.
I mean, I know I'm biased, but I think ours is the best team in the state, honestly. Like, you can say that other teams work together, but I mean, if we had to ask them questions of how well they work together, there's probably a few. But honestly, like, they don't really work together. They're just on a team. Like, we honestly, work together.
Yeah.
And it works, super smoothly. Like, I think people think, well, they make a lot of money. They do this, they do that, whatever. But, when we help each other with our clients, too, I feel like it's so smooth. They don't even know, that there's multiple ones helping. Or, the people on the billboards, and they're like, oh, let's just go work with them. I mean, there's a lot of controversy right now with those kind of people, or Zillow or whatever it is. But it's like, those people don't actually help you. Just, we actually help you. You will get one of us.
Meaning you get one of us. You get the person.
Yeah.
You get the person, and we're with you every step of the way.
And we all sell over 25 houses a year, or whatever it is. I mean, we sell a lot of houses. It's not like one of us sells 2 houses and don't know what we're doing.
So obviously, with that award that we got, and Stacey mentioned earlier, where we're number 2 in the RE/MAX Results Network for transactions for a small team. So a small team would be 3 agents, or less, us 3 right here, and a small team. The other team that had more transactions, I'm not sure how many, was in Wisconsin, Superior, Wisconsin. So and people, what they need to know, RE/MAX has the top performing agents in any real estate company on average of transactions. RE/MAX Results is the largest RE/MAX broker worldwide, with the, I think with the most agents as well. And so when Michelle says that, there is validity to that as far as, production, plus being able to help people, and plus the flexibility. So anyway, I don't necessarily want to sit here and brag on our own show. Who knows? You're not listening to hear that, but sometimes be like, are these people good at what they do?
I don't think we're bragging, though. I think we're just telling it how it is. We're out there working with other agents that have, some are really good. There are other really good agents, and some are just absolutely clueless, and they've been doing it for 20 years. So.
Yeah. Yep. So, okay. Well, no, I get it. I'm not disagreeing. So it's all good. So, okay. Next time, if we don't have a guest, we might do the topics thing again, or maybe I'll have one of you come up with topics and you ask me and the other people. That'd be cool. But I thought that'd be a way to mix up the content on the show a little bit. People got to know Michelle and Stacey a little bit better. And of course, we again covered what's happening in Minnesota real estate. So before we go, Stacey or Michelle, any final thoughts on the market or real estate, or just anything in general that we didn't cover?
Don't be scared to get on board to buy a house or sell. Selling, of course, you should sell all day if you're even considering selling. Yep. Buying, interest rate is still low enough. I wouldn't be scared to pay $20,000 over the price. You'll be fine. Just gotta buy for the right reasons. Just go with your intuition and buy houses for the right reasons. Don't just buy it because the interest rate is low. Don't do that either. So.
And don't get discouraged. I know that a number of people are writing more than one offer for buyers on houses, and it gets discouraging. But when it's meant to be, it's meant to be. So just keep plugging away and trust not just yourself, but trust us to help you through the steps and the motions of it too.
Yep. Awesome. Okay. Thanks for joining us again. Again, every 2 or 3 weeks, we have one of these shows, and I appreciate if you missed it or just tuned in. Again, you can listen to the replay, obviously, on our outlets that you see us on in the Real Life Impact Podcast show. Otherwise, bye, Michelle. Bye, Stacy. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
See ya.